When chain chomps deserve to die. Oh goodness. What is up? Oh, it is Tuesday. So I'm here. I'm a little late, admittedly. That's my bad. Oh man. I woke up late, to be fair. We have a heat wave going on in Illinois right now. So I literally adjusted my sleep schedule to sleep through the hottest parts of the day. The thing is, the hottest parts of the day tend to go to like 7 or 8 o'clock. So I'm actually up a little earlier than I thought I was going to be. So, good morning from this old fat uncle. Hopefully everyone's having a good one. My day has just started, so I do not know if mine is going to proceed along that route. But honestly, this is kind of interesting. This is the first week in a little bit that we have not had something super controversial to talk about. You know? And I want to go over that real quick before we really get into it. Not so much it just gives people, if they want to come in, because again, I didn't announce this prior because I didn't have a topic until literally 10 minutes ago. Give people time to file in. So the one thing that I noticed, I kind of made a declaration because I don't think that this is gonna come up again. Oh, I got a DM from somebody. Oh, it's just Hatman filling me in on something. I made a declaration, and maybe I'm incorrect, but I said the following. I said this on social media. So the anime ban thing is done. It's obviously not banned in Texas. You can go to any store and buy manga if the owner didn't listen to a moron. To those who claimed it was banned, like Chibi Reviews and others, every village needs an idiot. Thank you for your service. Could you use the stream to talk about the current Nintendo situation too? Yes, we will get to that. So yeah, and then somebody brought up something about like Chibi saying that making a character's breasts smaller in an anime is considered censorship. And they think removing nipples in an anime adaptation to fit with TV broadcasting standards is censorship. What a complete grifter. I'm going to just say this right now, dude. Some of the stuff that is somehow able to get on Japanese television is way more risque than some of the stuff that we're able to get on some channels in the US. But there's other channels that are able to like have like the Victoria's Secret runway fucking shit, you know? So welcome to life. You know, TV standards are a thing. You know, you're not going to see me complaining about a lack of naked Misato, you know, in the Evangelion TV series either. It's just, you know, it's just kind of silly. It's like, you can understand why they do it. You know, nice Demon Hunter Summer of Darkness wallpaper. Oh yeah, one of my favorite albums. The song Beauty in the Eyes of a Predator legitimately might be one of the hardest songs that I've ever heard. Like, it just goes fucking hard. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Ryan was very not happy when he wrote this. But, sorry, 1 second. Ugh. I don't know what that was. the whole anime ban thing, the last I saw of it was Chibi made a video about the dude who pulled stuff off his shelves because he likely listened to Chibi reviews, and he tried to blame the government for his own mistakes. It's like, bro, you are the least self-aware human being on the planet. But there's nothing really to say beyond that, because the whole thing with the Charlie Kirk shooting is that a lot of people are going to start moving on to whatever the next controversy is, which is, of course, a prominent political figure being assassinated. So people are going to move on to that instead of, talking about an anime ban that doesn't exist. And so I don't really see a point in dwelling on it unless it comes back up. So as of right now, it is it's done. I think it's safe to say. What do you guys think? Chat's already getting quiet. What do you guys think about this? Let me go ahead and move over what we're going to be talking about here in a second. Therion says, let's hope it's done. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be. Chibi has a hard time being honest. Yeah, I've noticed that. Honesty and self-awareness are just not in his nature, I noticed. When I dug into his background in regards to, like, as a content creator, I noticed that there was a lot of half-truths and dishonesty. So I think Netgear here puts it well. Unless something actually gets banned, only then will I get mad about the Texas. For right now, I could care less. Exactly. It's like, wake me when something important happens, because that was, like, the whole thing was him trying to create things for clickbait. He created a panic. He cost a dude money. And at the end of the day, he's not going to take responsibility for it, because that would be admitting he's wrong. But that's going to be on his soul. I think deep down I don't think he's that stupid. I think he's aware he's full of shit. I think he is. I think that he's going to deny it as long as he can, but at some point, God catches up with all of us. So, and it will catch up with him in regards to, his reputation and everything. You can only lie so many times until, something comes out that just pulls you to pieces. Sounds like he grifted. Basically, he's one of those dudes. He doesn't believe a thing he says. All right, so let's talk about today's topic. Good old Randy Pitchford. For those who don't know who Randy Pitchford is the head of Gearbox Entertainment, who are known for doing the Half-Life 1 expansions, and then they got known for doing Borderlands. And that's basically it. But Randy himself has been the butt of a lot of jokes, and rightfully so, because good lord, this guy. He is a dude who just is very loudmouth. He lies a lot. The most famous lies that he made prior to a certain incident at medieval times that we'll go over were about aliens, colonial marines. So for those who don't know, Aliens Colonial Marines, before it came out, was super hyped. Super hyped. A lot of people were stoked for it because it was, again, it's an Aliens first-person shooter, co-op game, and it's set after Aliens, where, and it basically is going to just be like this crazy shooter where you're trying to survive against a bunch of xenomorphs. They released a trailer for it, and it was not what it ended up being. Like, it was a complete fabrication. The graphics were a lot better than what they were on launch. The sequence played out completely different in the actual game than it did in this trailer. It was a fucking mess. And he also had said that basically that Gearbox was the primary on it. They weren't. They weren't. What they ended up doing is that Sega had given them a ton of money to make the game as good as humanly possible. They wanted Gearbox to work on it. And the Brain says here, want to feel old? No, I don't. I already feel old. I feel old whenever I wake up. Colonial Marines is 12 years old, so how wild is it that it was such a misfire? People still talk about it on the regular. Yeah, it's pretty substantial, to say the least. Wasn't the original Colonial Marines on the Dreamcast? I think that was where the first time it was teased. The Colonial Marines went through, I think, 2 different versions before Gearbox got their hands on it. Because Sega had been wanting to do just a straight-up Aliens first-person shooter for a while. Because they had the rights to the franchise at the time. So, what ends up happening is the game comes out, it's terrible. Turns out what happened was Gearbox didn't work on it at all. They found a cheap development studio where they threw a little bit of money on. And, what ends up happening is there is a whatchamacallit. There is obviously a controversy about it because it's like, this isn't a Gearbox game. And then we find out later that they funneled money from the contract into the development of a Borderlands game. And they got sued for it, but they somehow won the lawsuit. Because apparently, I guess the contract didn't say anything about not hiring contractors to develop the game instead. So it was basically a loophole. And they got away from it scot-free. But at the same point, Colonial Marines, nobody blames the developers that were contracted. They blame Randy for it. And also, by the way, the listed writer on that, whether he says he is or not, is Anthony Birch. The lawsuit wasn't lost, it was dismissed. Well, that's still an L. But yeah, they played Sega like a damn fiddle. GB was talking about the online censorship in Ohio in his latest video. Little Fucci, is it just another age verification thing? I have a feeling that's probably what it is. Because there's a lot of states that are wanting to put in ID verification into onto websites, like pornography websites and stuff. Which is a bad idea, but I've already done a stream about my positions on that, so I don't think that I really need to retread it. But maybe I do. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can have fun with it. But I mean, granted, now that I think about it, we could make it a point to have streams where we take like claims of about certain laws and find out the truth about them. Because good Lord knows that some like, and it's not, the funny thing is it's not just Chibi that does this. It's that one Otaku Spirit guy I mentioned, and a couple other people that are out there. They don't actually read the laws. They just go on what Twitter is saying, and you know, just roll with the outrage. They're not trying to actually report on something properly. No idea who Anthony Birch is? Consider yourself blessed. Just know that it could always be worse. It's at least you're not Anthony Birch. He is considered one of the most cringeworthy figures in internet history. He was probably one of the most famous early cuckolds. You know, like on the internet, like famous cuckolds. Because he said that he and his wife were in an open relationship. And then I think he let slip at one point that he wasn't actually seeing anyone else. It was just his wife. So people are like, dude, you're letting other people fuck your wife. What is wrong with you? And then she ends up divorcing him. And it's like, gee, who could have saw that coming? You hear anything about the development of the first Borderlands, it's not hard to see where the allegations come from, and a part of me even thinks that's what happened. Yeah. Look, I completely think that Randy is the type of person who would have done that. What? Yeah. Anthony Birch was probably the first famous internet cuckold. After that, it was after that, it might have been Maddox, if I remember right. I could be remembering wrong, but yeah, that is Anthony Birch's claim to fame. And what's funny about it is like his career did not really recover. He worked for Gearbox for a while, but like people just were trashing his writing all the time because he's not very good. 420 Goody, thank you for renewing your membership. He says at work on my lunch, hi Micah, also F Randy for so many things. Oh yeah, absolutely. We haven't even gotten to what he said recently. But isn't Destiny one as well? Yes, he is also a famous cuck. And there's a few others that have been out there as well. But yes. The funny thing about it is that Randy still is putting his foot in his mouth. I think the most famous one with Randy specifically is that he left a flash drive at a medieval times, which, by the way, family restaurant and you know, theme park ish thing. He leaves a flash drive behind, and what is on it is a bunch of Gearbox internal files and a fuck ton of barely legal porn and squirting porn. Yeah. And then his response was, and I quote, "It's like a magic trick." Brain renews his membership for 7 months. Says, dude, semi-related. Have you seen the piece he wears? Please, old Yeller me, if I get that idea, the wig can be seen from Pluto. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a toupee. He tried to write off the porn, too. But yes, his response was, "It's like a magic trick." And I'm like, how are you a real person? How are you a real human being? What the actual fuck? Oh my god. So obviously the fact of like being a grown man who at the time I want to say he was in his 40s. He's in his 50s now. Being a grown man in your 40s with porn on a fucking flash drive at a family restaurant and theme park kind of place. I don't know how you can just like describe medieval times. But like who does that? What fucking creep does that? Like I'm gonna go to a fucking medieval times with a flash drive in my pocket with a bunch of obscene fucking material on it. What the fuck? Really? Like, Randy, what the hell? The hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing, man? The fuck? What I miss? We're talking about Randy Pitchford and magic tricks. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, that to me was like, how the fuck? And if I remember right, Borderlands 3 didn't kind of underperformed, and like a lot of their games have underperformed since. They've just kind of fallen off. And Pitchford owns the rights to Duke Nukem, if I remember right. What a jackass. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. And he won't sell them. Cuz like the guy who was in charge of Duke Nukem Forever has like originally, I forget his name. Brain will probably know off the top of his head. He refused to sell him because Randy hates that guy. So not that the dude could probably really afford it, but you know, but it sucks that he's just sitting on a fucking a franchise like that when he could, you know, literally contract it out to somebody who would be willing to put forward a good Duke Nukem video game. He refuses to do it. The most we got was somehow they got the publishing rights to Bulletstorm from Epic, and they did a version of Bulletstorm, like a remaster of it, that didn't like really do much, but they put Duke Nukem in it, and it's kind of funny, but I don't know. Yeah, George Broussard and Scott Miller. So yeah, he for some reason he hates the IP. It's probably because Randy is one of those types where he played to the mob. You know, oh, it's misogynistic. It's this, it's that, it's the other. Shut the fuck up, you fucking pussy. God. Brainbox says, also point of clarification, he can no longer sell it. Gearbox is a subsidiary of Take-Two. They bought out People Can Fly, acquiring Bulletstorm in the process. Ah, fair enough then. So I guess if you could go through Take-Two, then you could probably still acquire it. But I imagine trying to pull an IP from Take-Two would be like pulling it from a dead man's grip. So I forget Colonial Marines. I actually went over that just a minute ago. But it goes without saying, like, this dude's an asshole. And he's already put his foot in his mouth about Borderlands 4. Because he was asked about the price point for it. Because Borderlands, like a lot of modern games, has they have upped their price by $10. And then, like, the deluxe edition is, like, over $100. I'm going to kind of give you guys a bit of perspective here. My weekly amount of, like, my weekly grocery budget is like $65. So for me, that, like, when I look at that price point, I go, that's a week's worth of food for a video game. It had better be fucking worth it, you know? And even then, I'll go to, like, key resellers to buy video games these days. I don't actually just buy them straight from Steam. You know? So, but he says, like, oh, you'll find a way to buy it. Like, what the fuck? Where do I shop? cdkeys.com or G2A. Yeah, I rarely ever pay full price for anything these days. Yeah, All While Silk Song is $20, pretty much. So let's have a look at what this idiot says. Borderlands 4 boss Randy Pitchford tells players to stop being 4K stubborn. Says it looks amazing at 1440p, and the trade-off for frames isn't worth it. Okay, first off, let's find the actual full quote. Well, excuse me, hold on a second. Sorry about that. So, the article says, let me zoom in for you guys a bit. Borderlands 4 officially launched this past week on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, with the Nintendo 2 Switch version arriving October the 3rd. Built on Unreal Engine 5, oh boy. It's one of the most ambitious entries in the series yet, featuring seamless zone traversal with tons and tons of loot to unlock. While the core gameplay and world design are getting decent praise, performance on PC especially has been rocky. Players across Steam and Reddit have reported stuttering, crashes, and frame rate issues even on relatively modern rigs. On consoles, things are a bit more stable but not perfect. Xbox Series S appears to be locked at 1080p 30 FPS. I can't say I'm too surprised, it's the Series S. While PS5 and Series X offer performance and quality modes, it's clear this Unreal Engine 5 powered sequel is pushing systems hard. Gearbox has already released a major update aimed at tackling some of these bugs. The patch dropped yesterday includes fixes to help stabilize frame rates, reduce crashes, and smooth out shader compilation hiccups. It's a step in the right direction, but it won't solve everything, especially for PC players trying to max everything out at 4K. Now, Gearbox software boss Randy Pitchford has entered the chat, and he's got some blunt advice for players trying to push ultra settings without the rig to match. In the new post shared on his official, formerly Twitter account yesterday, Pitchford weighed in on the ongoing performance chatter. According to him, a lot of players are chasing ultra settings and 4K resolution at the expense of performance, and it's not worth it for most setups. He started by acknowledging how demanding the game can be. BL4 and UE5 are doing a lot, he said, but also pointed that the tools are there to tweak things for smooth the gameplay experience, and you don't need a brand new GPU to hit high frame rates. He said it has been 120 FPS plus on PC with 3 and 4 year old hardware in internal tests just by adjusting settings. While everyone's setup is different, he urged players to experiment with settings rather than rely on a one-size-fits-all approach. We had some CS work prove that through settings tweaks only being able to climb up to 120 FPS plus on PC BL4, 3 and 4 year old hardware. Your mileage may vary, but please consider using the tools available to you to tune your own balance between FPS resolution and graphics features. Pitchford also dropped some quick tips to improve performance in Borderlands 4. Disable volumetric fog, use DLSS, toggle hardware ray trace lighting. So basically turn off all the stuff that's like that people buy big ass fucking cards for. The fuck? You think people don't know that? The hell? Bethesda posted a video mocking Kirk's death. Now people are canceling their Bethesda subscriptions. FAFO. Wait, what? Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Stop the presses. Let me read this real quick. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, they did it again. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so here's what they did. So they put out a tweet. Said, "Good kitty." And it says, "You don't care much about the fascists, do you?" Apparently on the day that Charlie Kirk got shot. So I want to just say this right now. These guys already got in hot water for using, like, Trump references to the infamous speech he gave after Charlottesville to try to promote fucking Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. Clearly they did not fire the social media director who did that, because they did it again. And by the way, the same studio that made New Colossus made the Indiana Jones game. Guys, I genuinely think that foot and mouth syndrome should be like an actually diagnosed condition. Holy shit. Now, one thing to say, to play the devil's advocate for just a moment. There is the distinct possibility that the social media person put a bunch of tweets together for promotion and then set them to be posted at certain times. I have seen social media directors do that at companies I have worked at. So that's a distinct possibility, and it might have just been really poorly timed. But on the flip side, you like this is not a good look. This is a really bad look. It's like, are we really doing this? So yeah, like it was obviously it was obviously meant to be provocative. You know, like, oh, look, you know, it's obvious what the social media manager is trying to do. And out of like any other time, it would come across of like, oh, get those right wingers, you fucking brave human being on Twitter, you. And it's just like this. It's just cringe. It's cringe, and now it's just poorly timed cringe to the point where it's a horrific look. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. So. Swear the new age of social media director seriously needs to be studied on how not to run a media site. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, and this is the thing. There used to be a rule among creatives in regards to like promotion and stuff like that and public relations. It's avoid politics. Avoid anything that's going to divide people. You know? It's just like, it's just silly. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, you're just gonna make everybody angry when they could be buying your stuff. It's the old principle. Republicans buy sneakers too. You know. So yeah, whoever is their social media manager, they gotta let him go. Honestly, like if you're gonna keep just doing shit like this, like yeah, all they need to do is shut the fuck up. That's basically it. What is foot in mouth syndrome? You never heard the statement "putting your foot in your mouth"? It's effectively putting your foot in the mouth is basically when you say something that is hilariously stupid and very, very, very not well timed. So I don't want to get into culture war stuff, Asteroid. I'm just gonna say this. I know from working in corporations that there are obviously political actors that work there, but there's also a lot of people who really like money, which is why we've seen people like this. They tend to get fired when they do things like this because you don't want people to continue to ruin your business, you know? And at this point, that's where money talks. And money still talks. Some people try to say, "Oh, money doesn't talk." You know what you really should do is get on Twitter and talk about how you're going to wage war against the Jews. Oh, by the way, guess what I got? Jew! Sorry about that. For some reason, I was muted. I don't know. Hold on a second. I'm gonna hit the button again. I want to try to figure something out real quick. So what I'm trying to do is set it to where it will just auto mute my microphone whenever I'm on this screen. I don't know if it's going to let me do it. Yeah, I don't think it will. That's really weird. You used to be able to do this thing where whenever you played like a video clip like that, um you didn't have to mute your microphone, you know? So, what I'm going to have to do, dummy, what? Dude, I knew that was going to happen. Shut up. Don't be a dick. Um But you used to be able to play clips like that, and it just took off your microphone so that whenever you clicked back on, you know, you didn't have to unmute yourself constantly. So I don't know if they switched that in an update or what's going on. So I will have to tamper with that later and see what I can do with it. Because I just I just want to be able to have it on like certain screens. But anyway, because I think if I look at the opening, my microphone is still there. Okay. So I don't know. That's really weird. Yeah, the constant UI changes in OBS do not help, to say the least. There was a point where OBS was so fucking bad that if you didn't have the right theme selected, it wouldn't run right. It's just one of those things where like every time there's a new update with OBS, I skip it and wait for the next one. Also, somebody brought up Destiny. I saw something on the Twitter that was kind of weird. But apparently he got banned from Twitch. I thought he was already banned, though. So I don't, he pretty much just streams on Kick. So I don't really think that really does anything. Think OBS changed it so audio is no longer linked to scenes. Oh, fuck. Ugh, that's the problem. Yeah, banned for incitement to violence against conservatives. Well, and this is the problem. Like, he's not the only person to do that, and there's a lot of other people that are still on Twitch. So I don't. It doesn't change anything. Like, when Twitch gets rid of Hassan and Mike from PA, then I'll believe it. Though I hate to admit this, Grum's actually made a good point for once. He said, what really they should do is just completely demonetize them. Completely. Like, all of them. All of those types. Like, Hassan, Denims, Mike from PA, Destiny, so on and so forth. Just demonetize them. Don't give them any way that they're not allowed to link to like their PayPals or anything like that, or they can't promote their own Patreons, so on and so forth. You don't give them any way to make money through your platform. If they keep streaming, that's how you tell who the true believers are. Which, yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Yeah, the CEO of Twitch said his favorite content creator is Hassan, so he ain't going anywhere. Destiny is the easy target because Destiny is, again, he's not the class favorite, and with Hassan being the class favorite, anybody Hassan likes or is friendly with will also never get permabanned on that platform, and they know it. That's part of the reason why Casey Tron is watching full movies while sleeping on her Twitch channel. She knows she's protected. I couldn't get away with that. I have to fight against copyright stuff tooth and fucking nail for using clips on a regular basis. And over on Twitch, bleh, nothing. So yeah. Jenks' nephew has been allowed to get away with a lot despite violating TOS for ages. Yeah. Yeah. He knows the right people. And that can carry you pretty far in life, let's be honest. Tall's been on a kick of saying we should be putting severe prosecution against political influencers who do the kind of calls to violence. Dude, I'm in complete agreement. Like, this is my problem. When someone goes on to Twitch, like, let's use Mike from PA, because he's one of the more famous ones who did this. Goes on to Twitch and says, and he said this about Destiny, if I remember right. If anybody in Florida wants to make $100,000, hit me up. I've got something for you to do. That's obviously like he's looking for a hitman, you know? And at that point, you should be banned from the platform permanently. And you should be investigated by the police. And you should be charged with terroristic threats. You absolutely should. But it doesn't happen. Because, and this is a problem that we have. We have people, like, one problem is the police departments. The police departments do not take it seriously. They don't. I hate to say this, but they don't take it seriously. And I say this as someone who has talked to cops about being a content creator locally. Because 2 times now, over the last 4 or 5 years, I've had to contact them to say, hey, like the initial contact was, can you put me on like a social media influencer list where you can, like, if somebody tries to swat me, you don't like swat me, you just stop by, you know, like just a couple cops or something like that. And they're like, yeah, because like we don't want that to happen. Other police departments have been doing this because, again, in a swatting situation, or whenever a SWAT team rolls in, you have guys with ARs coming through the door with the anticipation that someone in the building is armed and dangerous. That means itchy trigger fingers, because they gotta defend themselves, and if the guy inside is a criminal, at that point they don't give a fuck. You know, he opens fire, he threatens us, drop him. You know. So I went to the police department, talked to them about it, but they didn't really take it that seriously. They're you know, because they're like, you know, we don't think this is gonna happen, but we'll do it, you know. And then when I called him again recently, the person that I talked to about it just to check and see if I was still on the list was super dismissive. She's like, yep, you're still here, don't worry about it. She's like, we don't really have that many people in town anyway. There's like 3 or 4 that are on this list. You're the only one that's actually been doxxed more than once. So, or, you know, and it's like, so is it that the police just aren't as tech savvy? If you think about the cop's perspective, and I can understand it, I might not agree with it, but I can understand it. From the police officer's perspective, you've got more important things to do than worry about online problems. Because the world outside of this gets separated into real world and online stuff. Like, when I tell people that I make money on YouTube, their reaction is usually, what? Really? You? Because they expect me to be doing like some Logan Paul shit, right? With the fucking selfie. No. Not what I do. But, you know, I tell people I pay my bills just through doing YouTube stuff, which, I mean, I do. I'm making more than enough money now through all the stuff I'm working on. In fact, I think we're almost at 35k subs. Let me check that. Where are we at? Yep, we are 43 away. But anywho. But people don't take that seriously. They're like, I've got real crimes to take care of. The fact of the matter is, though, the fact that the police are not willing, when they get these reports, to send somebody to actually look at the clip and follow up on it, that they just dismiss it out hand, it's creating a ripple effect to where people are getting radicalized and they're doing violent things. We have seen it now. We've seen it multiple times before this. People firebombing ICE facilities and things like that. Trying to dox federal employees just because they're working for ICE or something like that, or for immigration services, and people aren't realizing it's like there's people online that are encouraging this shit. You absolutely should be able to press charges. Like, you should have, like, the state should obviously be able to do that, and they don't do it because they don't consider it real. Well, it's real now. Like, the more we find out about the shooter with Charlie Kirk is, and I told myself I wasn't going to do culture war stuff today, but this is just a fact of content creation, is that, yeah, the Tesla burnings too, is that these were incited. People didn't randomly just say, hey, I'm going to just go burn a Tesla. These were incited. They were absolutely incited. You can find TikToks of people saying to burn shit. You will find TikToks of people saying to attack government employees. Which, by the way, it doesn't matter who's in charge. It's still morally reprehensible and illegal. There's the whole thing of Hassan, like, let the streets soak red in their capitalist blood. That's a call to violence. And there needs to be consequences for this. Like, if I took a megaphone and I went to the town square here in the town I live in, and I started talking like Hassan Piker, giving that speech about killing the capitalist pigs and letting the streets soak red with their blood, I would be arrested for terroristic threats on the spot, and they would be right to do it. They would be right to do it. Somebody's got to do it in regards to assassinating the president. Again, I don't care if it's Trump or Biden or anybody, or in the future if it's Kamala Harris or Mehdi Hassan or whoever the fuck, or J.D. Vance in the future. I don't give a fuck who it is. Wanting to assassinate the president is fucked up. So, the fact that there's not a penalty for these things is the reason we keep seeing them. Opinions are fine. If you think that Charlie Kirk and things he said went too far, that is a valid opinion to have. Not one I agree with, but valid. If you and then there's a myriad of other opinions, but the instant that you start encouraging people to hurt other people, that is incitement. And it should be something that you could be arrested for. Because this is one thing that gets my fucking goat. I fucking hate people who call themselves free speech absolutists. No, you're not. You are absolutely not. That's fucking bullshit. If somebody called you and threatened to kill your mother, if you did not have guns yourself, the first thing you're going to do is call the police to protect your mom. And then try to figure out who said it. Why? Because what they did is threatening to violate the rights of another person. That is how it works. It's the old adage. Your rights end where someone else's begins. You can't make terroristic threats because you're violating someone else's rights to life, liberty, and property. You know, you can't punch people in the face. You can't kill people, so on and so forth, because it violates someone else's rights. That is why the law is the way that it is, or at least when it's done correctly. And the fact of the matter is that intimidation, threats, things like that, even if they are not carried out, they are meant to make your life miserable. And by doing so, make your life worse. People should not be able to do that. You know? It is a simple fact that a society should be able to decide what it wants and what it does not want to have around it. And if they do not want people to be able to threaten other people, consequence-free, there should then be consequences. Period, point blank. How much hate do you have in your heart to celebrate the death of someone, no matter if you disagree with them? Exactly. And I'll say this right now. If it had been Cenk Uygur that had been shot instead of Charlie Kirk, I'd be just as pissed. Because I don't like Cenk at all. Same thing with like Hassan or Destiny or anybody else. I don't like them at all. I think they're vile human beings. But it is foolish to act in such a way. It's vile, it's evil. Like, pick a fucking synonym. Netgear says best way to better prevent situations, get involved with communities, getting involved with these types of things to further prevent the fuckfest from happening. Yeah. Brain throws in $20, and yet somehow doesn't get the #1 spot. That's weird. What's ironic is the people who encourage this is that they're the bourgeois who who will fund but not fight the revolution. They can't see what happens to people like that because it makes them money right now. Oh yeah, I actually would argue one thing that I think has been worse for society is the monetization of Twitter. Like the fact that you can be paid to tweet. Because there are people on X right now that use AI footage of like crusaders and shit telling young men to commit violence against Jews. It's done constantly. A lot of these incitements you see are on X, and they're getting paid for it. Because all it did was it just like Twitter's got to start enforcing their own rules. I'm 100% with Asmongold on that one because I think it was Asmon who actually first said, he's like, dude, Twitter is becoming worse than what it was before because there's no rules. You know, because I completely agree with Elon in the sense that Twitter has become like the public square in a lot of ways. But you can't go into the public square in a suit of armor and start chanting kill all the Jews for a good reason. You know? But you can do it on Twitter. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's a meme I made that whenever people like post like Spartan shit or wherever that I feel is very appropriate, this is effectively what they're doing. I'm proud of this one, honestly. Hasn't caught fire yet, but I'm proud of it. Because I will call it the guy who does this a lot is, and I don't mean to be mean when I call him out. So Doug, don't freak out. I'm just saying. Doug Ernst, the guy I've had some interactions with in the past. Kind of a cringe guy, in my opinion. And one thing that he will do is he will fucking post like a picture of an AI generated Spartan with a quote by a Chinese philosopher, again in front of a Greek warrior, and then there's some fucking link down at the bottom. So I just put, please pay attention to .me. It's like, we know what you're doing. You don't like, he's gonna freak out. Yeah, he will, and he shouldn't. I'm just poking fun. You can make fun of me for being fat. I don't care, dude. It's the internet. Fucking grow a spine. It's one of those things like this is one thing that if you want to know the person who doesn't actually give a fuck, there will be two people you see in a bar. You'll see one guy who is drinking a lot and he's yelling, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. You know? He gives a fuck. Because he's saying it over and over again. Then you have the guy in the background who is also drinking with his buddies and he isn't saying a fucking word. Why? Because he doesn't care. He's just having fun. It's always one of the funniest things to me. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just sitting back here like, I am so convinced right now. Totally. I totally believe that you do indeed not give a fuck. The difference is Micah is making fun of you, not threatening you. See the difference. Yeah, the only person that I think I've threatened online in a long while was the dude who threatened to dox me. And even then, that's a reaction. Because basically, yeah, it's like, look, if you fuck with you try to fuck with my way of living, I will break your fucking jaw. Because you're crossing a line. It's a line that I don't cross. I'm not big into this whole life ruination thing. It's part of the reason that I like, people kind of expected me to like start A-logging Chibi reviews. I'm like, no, I'm not going to A-log him. Like, I'm pointing out that he's lying about this because it's gonna make problems, and it did. A guy is now losing money because of him. You know. I don't do the whole A-logging thing. It's way too autistic for me. I just like to talk. I just like to yap about topics. I'm a pretty good at that damn there yapping. You hear? So, I always thought I have too much pride to make fun of myself. Me? The guy who calls himself fat and ugly all the time. Or is there someone behind me you're talking about? Which it's really hard to find somebody behind me given how wide I am. What is A-logging? Autistically logging every fuck up that someone does, perceived or otherwise. Kiwi farms, basically. Again, nothing against the farmers. Some of them have been... I've been on the farms. I've had an account over there for like over a year. There's been some dudes on there that are really nice. There's been some complete assholes, but, you know, welcome to the internet. I've been on it for a while now. I have been a figure on the internet, believe it or not, for 15 years. 2010 is when I started journalism as a job. Yeah, I make fun of myself for being a Jew. Because it's kind of hilarious. Because religiously speaking, you're not going to find someone more Christian than I am. I was literally adopted into a fucking pew. My father's a preacher. You know, like, I am literally the sweet-talking son of a preacher man. And yet, ethnically speaking, I'm a Jew. It's fucking hilarious. Nothing about me makes sense. I am a 6'2" Scottish Jew raised by two 5'6" Irish Americans. I have a sister who is also adopted, who's black. Like, I have lived a wild life, and I love it. And it's funny, and there's nothing wrong with it being funny. Nothing wrong whatsoever. I come from a family that puts the funk in dysfunctional. Like, so I'm a judo Christian? No, I haven't learned judo yet. I just know boxing and Muay Thai. I think you mean Judeo-Christian. I don't hold any... I don't, like, practice any Jewish traditions or anything like that, aside from eating bagels. I really like bagels. That might have been the genetic part. Because seriously, blueberry bagel with cream cheese? Oh. Fuck yeah. Honestly thought for a while you were raised by a black family. Given... I tend to get adopted by them. Everywhere I go, every workplace I've ever had that has been in the town I live in, the people that I hung out with the most and the people I was coolest with were always black people. And at least one gay guy. It's kind of funny. My friend Shermond, when I was in college, he used to say I was the blackest white guy he's ever met. What about hummus? I hate it. Have a good evening, Desort. We're gonna be wrapping this up here soon, anyway. But yeah, it's just been a thing like my whole life. Most of, like, if I live in an area where there is a significant amount of black people. I will get along with them almost universally. Like, seriously. The building, the apartment building I live in, it's split pretty much like halfway down the middle, like white tenants and black tenants. I get along with everybody. You know? Everybody seems to like me. You didn't talk about Nintendo. What was it? What did they do? Oh, it's because they got the fucking patent. There's not really a whole lot to say about that. So for those who don't know, the patent, Nintendo managed to somehow get the patent to like throw a ball and capture a defeated enemy. And they got it years upon years after doing it. Micah has the pass. I don't know if I have the pass. I do get invited to the cookout, though. I have been invited to the cookout several times. See the trailer for Good Boy? It's a horror movie where the main protagonist is a dog. It's not animated. Interesting. But yeah, that's one thing that I'm probably going to do is the next time I go to a cookout with people, like on Juneteenth or something, I'm gonna take some pictures of me being there. Just to mess with people whenever like people on Twitter get mad at me. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you getting mad at me? Like, don't, like, some idiot calls me racist. Like, racist? I'm invited to the cookout. What are you talking about? I'm there every Juneteenth. I want some ribs, man. Ribs and fried chicken. I'm a happy man. The past might be a hoax. As such, respect, you should never use the word. That's why I don't. Unless I'm quoting someone else. And even then, I'll just say N-word. What does that say about Lolly? He's been passing the N-word for a while now. I don't judge him for it. He does it to be funny. It's part of the gimmick. I don't do it because, again, you have to keep something in mind. I was raised in a way that, like, around people that even if I said it as a joke, they would hit me for doing it. So, as respectful to those people, and I know that even to this day, if they found out that I used it, they would get very upset with me. As respect to them, I don't say it. Because there's some people in my life that I really care about that would legitimately get very upset if I did. So I don't, out of respect for them. Specifically, I can imagine the look on the face of... I had two very close friends, Jason and Justin, when I was up in the Chicago area. That, well, they're still friends, but their mom, I know what the look on her face would be if I ever said that word, and I would never want her to feel anything negative about me ever, because I care about that family, quite a bit. Daniel Stores in a buck. I couldn't read that because it came through Stream Elements. Hold on one second. Demo Stores in a buck says, why does Nintendo expect you to pay $100 for a Virtual Boy simulation in the year of our Lord 2025? Be like if Hasbro bought back the Tiger R Zone in 2025 to bank on a feigned 90s nostalgia for stuff that should have stayed behind in 1995. I don't get it either, to be honest with you. It's just very stupid. I hope it fails. But then again, I just don't like Nintendo. So, it is what it is. Alright, guys. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. I want to thank everybody for being liberal with super chats, renewing memberships, all that fun stuff. Helps me out immensely, to say the least. New short is up for those who have not seen it. Couple announcements. We do have a new video about new types specifically that are that is up for members. If you're not a member yet, please consider becoming one. You can watch stuff like that about a week early. The full saga for Grips War comes out next month. And another real quick announcement, Gundam Sentinel is getting its own video because it is honestly not long enough to get an hour of explanation in. So look out for that for members next week. So, with all that said, I'm going to take off. My name is Micah Curtis, your favorite vanilla gorilla. Have yourselves a great rest of your day, guys.